welcome to Janette's TV. I'm your host, Janette Burke, and today we're doing something a little different. It's TIFF 2020 amidst COVID-19, where everything's virtual or drive-in. Well, we just had a lovely look at directorial debut Halle Berry's movie Bruised, which is going to air on Netflix. And we just had a virtual conversation with her, where we were privy to her talking about what led her to take on this directorial role and also star in the movie. I wasn't able to conduct the interview myself, and while questions were submitted, they were done so on chat and not necessarily addressed. So I'm going to take this into my own hands and give you a little synopsis of what this movie's all about and what Halle has said, and then you'll see clips of the actual conversation with Halle Berry, which was a TIFF only exclusive event. So, for those of you who know, Halle Berry started her career almost 30 years ago. She originally started out as a model and worked her way into being an actress. Her breakthrough role came in a Spike Lee movie. Halle makes her directorial debut in this film Bruised, which is basically an American sports film that she directs and stars in, alongside cast members such as Shamir Anderson, Adon Canto, and Sheila Atom. This movie was adopted from a screenplay that was written by Michelle Rosenfarb, and the film makes its debut tomorrow night, September 12th, at TIFF via drive-in and via virtual screening. Now, even though we were allowed to participate in the conversation with Miss Berry, I wanted to bring out the fact that there will be no red carpet gala for this event, as talent is actually not allowed into Toronto right now. International media is also not allowed into Toronto right now, and that includes US. Anyway, this is a really great honor and up-close and personal attempt to hear from Halle, her own journey through her 30-year career in Hollywood. And she actually shared with us that she wanted to be a journalist, and she wound up being an actress. So you never know, right? We will hear more from Halle about her life and her projects in the conversation, which we will refer to and give you an up-close and personal behind-the-scenes glimpse into via me. And I just want to tell you a little bit about what this actual movie is about. So, not only does Halle Berry direct this movie, she actually stars in this movie. She plays the MMA fighter Jackie Justice, who is basically on her comeback. It's a comeback story, and she is paired against the rising star of the world in the moment. She is dealing with her career being somewhat tanked and her attempt to regain her title. At the same time, she is also dealing with the return of her 6-year-old son to the mother he deserves that he didn't even know he had. Now, the thing is, Halle Berry was not supposed to star or direct this role. In fact, it was originally written to be played by a white Anglo-Saxon Irish Catholic woman, and they were going to cast Blake Lively in the role. However, Halle was very convincing with the producers that this role is not really about a woman of 25 years old and a white woman at that. It's really a story now of a woman of color, which we're now seeing more of these type of stories appear in Hollywood. And it is also the story of a middle-aged woman who is seeking redemption. Halle was not only skilled at convincing the producers to take a whole new angle with the movie in starring her, but then they went on to find a director, and it wasn't an easy task. She had interviewed several directors, well-known producers, and was not convinced that they really understood what this movie was all about. So she went on to convince the producers, with the help of her friend, that she would be the ideal person to not only act in this role as Jackie Justice, but also direct this picture. So she convinced them, and she took on this role as the director. And it wasn't an easy task for her, because now she's managing the entire production, overlooking every single scene, watching herself on film numerous times. She's also starring in it. But more than that, she was actually injured during the filming of this movie. She cracked a couple of ribs because she does her own stunts. So most people would say, wow, she cracked a couple ribs. That must have really been a setback for the movie. Obviously very painful for her. But in fact, it was not a setback for the movie, because Halle soldiered on and insisted on getting back to work right away with only like a couple of days break. And then they went ahead and continued to film it. It is not completely done yet. It's almost ready to be released. As I said, a deal was brokered, and it will be released on Netflix within a few months. Let's also not keep in mind that Halle Berry herself is 54 years old, and she looks awesome. She has a very toned and taunt body, and that in itself is hard for her, because you may not realize, but she is a diabetic, and she works out heavy duty every day. She gets up at 5 a.m. Her trainer and her really hit the gym. She is also a strict believer in the ketogenic diet, which she strictly follows, and this helped her prepare for this role. Lastly, the one good thing about Halle in this movie as well is that she allowed herself to go de-glam, because she's really not all about the beautiful side of the industry. She really is about telling incredible stories with a women's focus and a black women's focus, and really getting into the heart and the matter of this story, which is very important, because Tiff in this particular year has made over 45% of the pictures female based on this Share Her Journey incentive that they have. So now we're seeing more than ever women producers, directors, actors, and in various other roles in the industry, including Halle, who took this on. Now, the thing is that she allowed for her to have an unrecognizable transformation, so you will not see her in a glammed up way when she portrays the role of Jackie. I really can't add anything more other than the glimpses behind the scenes that we're going to show you in between this talk. I was very privileged to have the opportunity to take part in this virtual event at all. Although I did submit questions, it was difficult to get them answered on chat. As I said, this is not a red carpet like we're used to working, where I'm in front of the star and I get to ask a question or two.
What did you learn from working with directors on past roles you brought behind? What did you learn from working with directors on past roles that you brought behind the camera for Bruised?
Well, one lesson I learned, and I learned this from Warren Beatty when I did Woolworth with him. He also directed and starred in that movie. And I remember him talking about back then about, as a director, your job is to not micromanage, but it is to hire the people that you respect, that you believe hold your vision, and let them go do their jobs. You know, be a benevolent leader, trust in the people that you hire. And I also learned, and probably this is something that I've learned just from watching some of the best directors, that you really get more out of people by leading with kindness and grace and appreciating everyone's hard work. And by doing that, you create a group of people that will walk over hot coals for you and for your film. And I think that's the environment that I hope I created on Bruised, because I knew how important it was that everyone felt appreciated and valued and heard, and that they got to put their artistry forth, and that their creativity was also going to be a part of this project. So that's what I would say.
Thanks for being with us today on Janette's TV and Janette's TV podcast. I'm your host, Janette Burke, signing off. Please remember to like, comment, and share all our posts with all your family and friends. You will find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Vimeo, YouTube. We're everywhere. You name it. # Janette's TV. And until next time, continue to be fabulous.